I did what less than 1% of people in the world did. I wrote one of the books living rent-free in my head. I'm author R.A. Gasparac, a human Hyrax hybrid, and the Dark Empress of delayed reactions. Finishing my first draft wasn't unicorns, sunshine, and rainbows. This wasn't my first. This was my third time trying. I'm not saying this to boast. I know there are a lot of you trudging through the mud like I once was. I want to give you guys a glimmer of hope and know you are closer to completing this goal than you think. How it started. I was working at a craft store as a certified framer. Apparently, that is one of the few jobs hiring someone holding a degree in graphic design with a heavy focus on filmmaking at the time. So I was working the closing shift and it got dark very quickly. At the time, the road I had to take home was a questionable 2-lane highway with sudden dips and turns. Add in that everyone drove with their brights on, blinding you. All it would take was one person not paying attention, drive along the center line, and boom! Thankfully that night, I didn't have to drive defensively, but I was on high alert looking for as many possible threats. So you can imagine all the anxious energy making my mind spiral. And spiral it did. In hindsight, I was one of the few lucky people on Earth to see a massive great horned or barred owl, whichever one it was, fly across the road about 50 feet in front of my car. To someone who was a flight risk, my brain saw a shadow figure coming out in the wild. My mind likely made that jump having one time been a paranormal investigator. So yeah, that might be why. 10 minutes later, I'm in my car, sitting in the driveway, chastising myself for jumping to conclusions as I put 2 and 2 together. Then the thought that started all of this popped into my head. Could you imagine if the Hatman sent his shadow people out to hunt down and kill people? Why? Without further ado, I present you the premise of Bloody Flesh and Deadly Shadows. Malevolent shadow people have been wreaking havoc on humanity for hundreds of years as they feed off the fear and malice sanctioned by their new king, the Hatman. Zeus's power is dwindling, and his hold on the Olympian throne is close to falling through his fingers. His last-ditch effort to keep his crown is awakening the only deity that he fears, the Nyx, aka Korra. Now awake and crawling out of someone else's shallow grave, Korra's memories trickle back to her, leaving her at her most vulnerable when she goes into hiding. Despite her efforts, she realizes firsthand the full weight and destruction and bloody mayhem opposing forces will do to smoke her out of said hiding. And when a supposed ally overplays their hand, Korra discovers a fox in the henhouse. Antagonistic forces are so enamored with their own press, they ignore the coup forming right under their nose, just as Korra's Nyx powers begin to manifest. Predatory governments, terrorism, hate crimes, and civil wars are suddenly on the rise. This means the antagonistic forces' plan is working, as the collective misery of humanity fuels their final solution: eliminate all who oppose them. That's when Zeus gives Korra a one-time offer. Only the offer is actually a curse. And that's when Korra learns if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Trust dishonest people to always be dishonest. Dead allies, the enemy in her own bed, and stolen power. She's the underdog, but every dog has its day. Despite her lack of usable resources, Korra chooses to face the antagonistic forces in a Hail Mary, last-ditch effort to try to even out the playing field or succumb to true death's final lasting embrace. My book. He's nice. So to keep this video from getting any longer, I'm going to leave things here. If you want to know more or have any questions, please comment them down below. Otherwise, if you haven't already and don't want to miss anything else like this, you know what to do, and don't forget the bell too.